Okay, well, thank you very much. Kumusta kayo po, mga kababayan ko dito po sa Malaysia? Dito po, very specific sa Kota Kinabalu. Ang Kota Kinabalu is located dito po sa Sabah, East Malaysia. Part of Malaysia ito po. And now, I would like to welcome each and every one of you. Nandito po kayo sa programa NikTok, The Real Talk with Nico. May mga issues na we will be talking today, and I strongly believe that this is very important because it involves all the Filipino, all Filipinos, not only in the Philippines but also Filipinos who are working, legally working, or even illegally residing in outside the country po, like Sabah, no? Like Sabah, Saudi Arabia, America, so forth and so on. So I just want to touch on this issue because I believe it involves security, the security of the country, as well as the economic aspect of the country po. Kaya nga, I think this is the right time for us to talk about what transpired during the 3-day official visit of our president, ang presidente natin si Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Now, he left the Philippines last Sunday, and Monday he met with Defense Secretary Hegseth, and Tuesday he also met ang presidente ng mundo, the top leader of the world, and that is the president of America, United States of America, and I'm referring to no other than President Donald Trump po. Nag-meeting na sila Tuesday, July 22, ibig sabihin na Wednesday, today po, dyan sa Pilipinas or dito sa Asia. I'll be touching on that thing later on, but before touching on the issue, let me remind each and everyone again that kailangan tayo po, mga Filipinos dyan sa Pilipinas, no? Be careful in your movements, in whatever you do, especially now that once again ang Philippines is facing another problem, not only in politics but this time around it is on sabi natin the weather condition in the Philippines. We have a typhoon Krising who did some damages during his or Krising stay in the Philippines, and now we have another typhoon po, no? Another typhoon, si Emong. I will be giving you some details of this typhoon, and of course, ang focus natin ngayon is on the trip of Bongbong Marcos, or President Bongbong Marcos dyan po sa United States of America. 3 days, no? 3 days visit yun, official visit. But anyway, ito muna tayo po. Concern tayo regarding itong what is happening sa Pilipinas when it comes to the weather condition. Nandito po ang latest updates natin po about the weather condition in the Philippines. The State Weather Bureau has raised tropical cyclone wind signal number 1 over parts of Region 1, particularly Ilocos, La Union, and Pangasinan, as tropical depression Emong moves closer to northern Luzon. As of 11 a.m. Today, Wednesday, Pag-asa said Emong was located 115 kilometers west-northwest of Laog City, Ilocos Norte, moving west-southwest at 35 kilometers per hour. The system is packing maximum sustained wind of 45 kilometers per hour and gusts of up to 55 kilometers per hour. So yun po. Yun ang latest updates natin po dyan sa Pilipinas. And itong bisita sa Pilipinas, si Typhoon Emong. The other day, mayroon tayong Typhoon Krising, and this time around, nandyan na naman po si Typhoon Emong. Ingat lang tayo po, and later on, we will or I will share you some footages about the report of President Bongbong Marcos regarding the devastation brought by Typhoon Krising dyan po sa Pilipinas po. May official report si President Bongbong Marcos during his press conference ba yan, no? After meeting President Donald Trump, no? Tuesday, July 22 or 23 ngayon po, Wednesday dito sa Pilipinas. And of course, I will be sharing with you ang what happened talaga, ang purpose ni Bongbong Marcos in going or accepting the invitation of President Donald Trump is because they will be discussing on the security aspect and at the same time economy of the Philippines, especially ang 20% tariff to be imposed by United States by Philippine goods coming into United States po. 20% yan po. And that is, it is for this reason that Bongbong Marcos accepted, he was forced to go there, no? And he's planning to plea or urge or appeal some discounts po because he believes, his administration believes that 20% is a little bit high for the Filipinos po. But let's see the result. Let's see the result. In the meantime, nandito na po. I will share with you the press conference, joint press conference held by dyan po sa Washington, dyan po sa White House, si President Donald Trump and President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Let's watch and listen to this footage po, video clips that I have prepared for all of you. Nandito po, let's listen to this.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's a great honor to have President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. of the Philippines, a great family legacy, and highly respected in his country. I know that because I have many friends in the Philippines, and there's great respect, or I couldn't say it, so congratulations. We're going to be talking about trade. We're going to be talking about war and peace. They're a very important nation militarily, and we've had some great drills lately. We're back with them. I think I can say that the last administration was not getting along with them too well. They didn't get along with anybody. They didn't know. Honestly, they didn't know what they were doing. But we have some fantastic military relationships with the Philippines, and that's been reinstituted. And Pete, I would say that you couldn't be happier, right, with the relationship. So I just want to say it's an honor to have you. We're going to talk about trade today, and we're very close to finishing a trade deal, big trade deal actually. And we do a lot of business with you. It's a lot of income coming in for both groups. But I was surprised to see the kind of numbers. They're very big, and they're going to get bigger under what we're doing and what we're proposing. And I just want to thank you for being with us. It's a great honor. You and your representative. It's really a great honor. We have a big announcement. AstraZeneca, the big drug company, is going to spend $50 billion, just announced $50 billion in the United States in order to build various places all over the country, big manufacturing plants, pharmaceutical plants all over the country. So that's an honor. And he said they did that because of the election and because of the fact that the tariffs are placed. So they're building their facilities in New York. $50 billion, that's a big investment. And it's going to be a very good investment. I have no doubt about it. So thank you to AstraZeneca. And with that, I'd like to have you say a few words, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Of course, we're all very happy to be here to once again reaffirm the very strong ties between the Philippines and the United States, ties that go back over 100 years. And considering the context in which we live these days, especially in my part of the world, this has evolved into as important a relationship as is possible to have. We We must remember that the United States is our only treaty partner in the Philippines, and that has stood us in good stead over the years, certainly through the Second World War, and the cultural memory of all Filipinos, down to even the school children, is that our strongest, closest, most reliable ally has always been the United States. That is something that we value, that we are grateful for, and that we will continue to foster as we go on. With the leadership of President Trump, I am very confident that we will be able to achieve that. I think it is worthwhile to remember that it was President Trump who, in his first term, characterized the relationship between the Philippines and the United States as ironclad. And that has been necessarily the case since that time that you made that statement, sir. And it is something that the Philippines will always hold close to its heart. Thank you once again, and we are honored, and it is our great pleasure to be here and to visit with the President of the United States. Thank you, sir.
It's my great honor. Any questions?
Alright, that's it. Ang mga introductory statements made by both leaders. Si President of United States of America, President Donald Trump, and at the same time followed by the President of the Philippines, si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. I would say, yes, good introduction of Bongbong Marcos, or BBM, no? BBM, very impressive din po the way he delivered his introduction speech, introduction statement po during the joint press conference held at the White House yesterday. Today yan po sa Pilipinas. And sadly to say, to note that Trump also slammed the former president of the Philippines when he made his opening statement po, no? About the Duterte administration. So, ganon yan po, no? What is happening now, and kayo na po bahala how you look at it, no? How you look at it. Anyway, I'll give you more details regarding this thing po, no? I'll read you a story, a news article coming from, also again, from Philstar po, no? And this is about the meeting of Donald Trump and President Donald Trump and President Bongbong Marcos at the White House yesterday or today yun po, kung dito yon sa Pilipinas. Dito yon sa Pilipinas. Sandali. Saan na yun? Alright, nandito po, headline ito po, no? Banner story ito sa Philstar, dyan po sa Philippines, today. The heading of the news article is, "They didn't know what they were doing. Trump blasts Duterte era diplomacy." And now, nandito po ang detalles ng news article nito. In the first ever meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Trump took a swipe at the latter's predecessor, saying that the former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte's administration did not know what they were doing. Duterte met with Trump during the latter's first term in 2017. However, as Duterte's presidency progressed, he distanced the Philippines from the U.S., surprising the country's longtime ally. Now, Trump is back to power while Duterte is detained at the International Criminal Court in The Hague for alleged crimes against humanity. During a joint interview with Marcos, Trump criticized Duterte for his foreign policies. "I can say that the last administration was not getting along with them too well. They didn't get along with anybody. Honestly, they didn't know what they were doing, the U.S. leader said. When Trump said this, Marcos merely smiled. Trump made the remarks amid a heated political rivalry back in the Philippines. Vice President Sara Duterte has repeatedly criticized President Marcos and even claimed she once hired a hitman to assassinate him in the event of her death. Now, the U.S. President appears satisfied with Washington's current relationship with the Marcos administration. Yon po. Yon po ang latest updates natin po tungkol ang meeting ni President Donald Trump and President Bongbong Marcos dyan po sa White House, which happened July 22 yun, no? July 22, and that was yesterday. And sa Pilipinas and dito sa Malaysia, that is today. Today po, no? Early this morning. Okay, let's continue with a portion of the interview or press conference, joint press conference of the two presidents po, no? Nandito, let's also watch and listen to this footage that I have prepared for all of you. Nandito po.
President Marcos, next year, Philippines is going to be the rotating chair of ASEAN. I wonder how do you plan to balance your relationship between the United States and China? And for President Trump, Kremlin yesterday said if you are going to Beijing in September, they wouldn't rule out a meeting between you and President Putin. Is such a meeting possible? And how soon do you plan to visit China?
Well, we have a lot of meetings possible. President Xi has invited me to China, and we'll probably be doing that in the not too distant future, a little bit out, but not too distant. And I've been invited by a lot of people, and we'll make those decisions pretty soon. Please.
Well, as you well, we as you say, we are chairing ASEAN for 2026. There is no need, in a sense, to balance, as you characterize as, to balance our relationship between the United States and China, simply because our foreign policy is an independent one, and we are essentially concerned with the defense of our territory and the exercise of our sovereign rights. Now, whether we do this not alone, we need to do this with our partners. And again, our strongest partner has always been the United States. But of course, we are trying to form coalitions and multilateral relations so that those like-minded nations who share the same values as we do, who hew to international law, most specifically the UNCLOS, present that position very clearly to anyone who has intentions of unilaterally changing the world order, and that is how we are guided in that.
And I don't mind if he gets along with China, because we're getting along with China very well. We have a very good relationship. In fact, the magnets, which is a little complex piece of material, but the magnets are coming out, very well. They're sending them in record numbers. We're getting along with China very well, and I don't mind if the president dealt with China. If that's meant, because I think he has to do what's right for his country. I've always said, make the Philippines great again. Do whatever you need to do, but you're dealing with China wouldn't bother me at all.
It's something that we have to do in any case. Yeah. Certainly.
All right, yun po. No? That's it. According to Donald Trump, or President Donald Trump, Philippines, Marcos, you're free to deal with China. I'm less bothered mo. Because he said he and China, the president of China, say, they're okay. They're fine. They're fine po. No? So, yun po. That's the the topic or issue that they briefly touch on the China issue or the relationship between Philippines and China. No? Medyo during the time of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, there was a close tie between Philippines and China, and this time around, Marcos Jr. is more inclined again back to the ally ang United States. Alright, mayroon pa tayo dito footage regarding the issue of China, Philippine tilting. During the time of Duterte, Philippine tilting towards China. And of course, again, as what I said, based on the statement of President Trump, he said that he's less bothered if Philippines will tilt with China po, no? Will tilt with China. So, okay, let's continue with this coverage portion of the joint press conference of Trump and Marcos. Let's also watch this video clip.
Sir, when you say that you're close to making a trade deal, what gas remain? And for President Marcos, sir, I was just wondering, do you not think that perhaps the Philippines hosting U.S. missile systems could be considered escalatory by China, especially because they can strike increasingly on China? Thank you.
Well, it's an honor to be with this gentleman. You know, I've known him, and I've known his family, actually, but I've known him. And I assume you're from the Philippines? Are you from the Philippines?
Yes, sir.
That's good. You're very lucky to be from the Philippines, right? It's a great place. But we're going to have a very good relationship. I mean, I know you had some problems with another president, and it was not your fault. It was the president's fault. And the country was maybe tilting toward China, but we untilted it very, very quickly. But you know, you had a country that was tilting toward China for a period of time, and I just don't think that would have been good for you. You could deal with China, you should deal with China, but when I got elected, everything changed, and they came right back to us. Say it again. Yeah, Brian, go ahead.
Oh, Mr. President, I wanted to piggyback off that.
Sorry, I had a question to President Marcos.
Yes. Sorry, what was the question again?
It was about whether having U.S. missiles hosted in the Philippines could be considered escalatory by China.
All of what we consider part of the modernization of the Philippine military is really as a response to the circumstances that surround the situation around the South China Sea and now what we used to refer to as Asia Pacific, which we have expanded now to the Indo-Pacific. And if we would certainly, like in any kind of military spending, we would wish that it wasn't necessary, but it is. And so that is what we are doing. And as an adjunct to the question about the ammunition production, this is actually the United States is assisting the Philippines in what we call our self-reliance defense program, which is to allow us to be self-reliant and to be able to stand our own 2 feet, whatever the circumstances that occur in the future. And the reason that we have encouraged more interaction with the United States is because it is necessary. And it is not just with the United States. It is with all our neighboring countries and even countries as far afield as the Scandinavian countries, the EU. And so this is an ongoing process. And again, I will stress the point that we do this because we feel it is necessary.
Don't forget, just as tantamount to what you're asking, the Philippines were loaded up with ISIS and a lot of terrorists, and they were at very, very dangerous point. And during my administration, we went in and we wiped them out, working with the Philippines, but we wiped them out. But if we didn't get in, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know who would be your president right now. But we spent a lot of time and a lot of talent on going into the Philippines and wiping out terrorists. They had a tremendous problem during my administration. And we cleaned it up, we got them out, and now you really have a good, solid country again.
I believe so, yes.
How can you be so president, sir?
Okay, that's it. Yun po ang mga statements ni President Donald Trump and of course the reaction of President Bongbong Marcos, no? Of Bongbong Marcos. And talking about security, now this time around we will touch on the trade and investment, trade and investment between Philippines and United States. The reason why Bongbong Marcos, or President Bongbong Marcos, went and accepted the invitation of the President of the United States, the three-day official visit, no? Which started last Sunday. He left the Philippines Sunday, and Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and he is back in the Philippines Wednesday evening. Wednesday evening. Gabi na yan po. Gabi. Tonight, I will be arriving in the Philippines po. No? He will be arriving in the Philippines. Okay. Now, kudos to President Bongbong Marcos. He spoke well about the United States, about President Donald Trump during his meeting with the great leader Donald Trump. And although there was a little bit uneasiness when Donald Trump referred or mentioned about the Duterte administration po, no? And he touched on the terrorism, the problem of terrorism in the Philippines. And if I'm not mistaken, although I'm not in the Philippines, but if I'm not mistaken, during the time of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, he got the political will, determination, commitment to wipe out this local terrorism problem in the Philippines, of which he did. And yes, of course, with the assistance also, in one way or the other, of the United States of America. No? United States of America, they also helped during the time of Tatay Digong in wiping out the problem, if not totally, but really in great result, managed to solve the problem of local terrorism in the Philippines and other crimes po. That includes drugs, proliferation of drugs po sa Pilipinas. So yon po. And all these things, Bongbong Marcos did well during his 3 days visit in United States, but there were also criticism, which is normal lang yan po. Normal lang yan mga criticism. Some negative, some positive criticism. Now, despite talking nice to the president or si President Donald Trump, and of course talking good about United States, about the cordial relationship between the Philippines and America, ang resulta po ng trip ni Bongbong Marcos, ni Bongbong Marcos to those who criticize, negatively criticize Bongbong Marcos, they said waste of money, waste of time, waste of efforts po. Why? Because according to them, na Bongbong Marcos, or President Bongbong Marcos, only managed to convince President Donald Trump to reduce the tariff from the original 20% only down to 19%. Ibig sabihin 1% lang po. 1% lang po. Earlier there were talks that Philippines will be appealing its level best to push down the 20% maybe to 17% or even 15% tariff. But the result now officially, it is 19. Ibig sabihin po, only 1%. 1%. What happened? And that, we don't know po. But for those supporting, or the supporters of the administration, Marcos administration, they were saying, that's very good result. Even though it is 1% na po, but 1% counts a lot. Counts a lot. So, kayo na po, bahala po. Kung ang 1% is satisfactory after spending a lot of time, money, efforts, then you manage to get only a discount of 1% or not. Now, let me remind you, the Indonesian president, also negotiated with Trump because Trump wants to impose a tariff of 32% Indonesia, or means Indonesian goods bringing in dyan po sa America po, they have to pay 32% tariff. And the Indonesian president did not even went to meet President Donald Trump and discuss and negotiate po. No? He did not do that. He only spent time through the phone. No? Nag-usap lang sila po, and Donald Trump finally granted a 19% tariff only. So from 32 to 19 po, malaki yung difference. Malaki yung difference. You see? Si President Donald Trump repeatedly said that President Bongbong Marcos is a great negotiator. Is a great negotiator. Yet, the result is only 1%. Ano ba yan, great negotiator? Is he insulting or what? Because 1% lang po, no? Kayo na bahala. I'm not against Marcos, I'm not against anybody, but I'm just telling you the facts po na ganito nangyari ang trip. 1% lang po. While ang Indonesia, hindi nagpunta sa Amerika, they only talk over the phone, and Trump gave them a discount of 19% po. He agreed that the tariff for Indonesia, goods coming from Indonesia, entering America, they have to pay only 19% tariff. From 32% to 19%. Earlier sa Philippines, from 20%, we are hoping it will be 17 or 15%. But finally, the result is 19%. In other words, 1% discount lang po. 1% discount lang. Alright, kayo na bahala, no? Kayo na bahala po. And let's listen to this brief statement of President Donald Trump po regarding our President Bongbong Marcos as a good negotiator.
A reciprocal tariff. How far are we from the Philippines? Yes, sir. How far?
Are you from the Philippines?
Yes, sir. I'm from the Philippines. How far are we from achieving?
Well, it's tough. He's a very tough negotiator. So far, we're not there because he's negotiating too tough. In fact, I used to like him better than I do now. He's too tough. But we'll probably agree to something. But he's strong, a strong negotiator. He loves your country.
Mr. President.
He is a tough, strong, he loves your country. Bongbong Marcos, yan po ang sabi ni President Donald Trump po. Yeah? President. Despite of that, Donald Trump only gave us 1% discount. 1% discount. Yun na po. Alright? So, kayo na bahala. Kayo na bahala. I'm just passing the information po which I gathered. I monitored and took efforts to record it and pass the message to my followers dito po sa Malaysia, particularly po ang mga Filipinos dito sa Malaysia, who are presently residing, legally residing, working dito po sa Malaysia, particularly in Sabah is Malaysia, Sarawak also part of one of the two states in is Malaysia po, ang Sabah sa Sarawak. Dami din tayong mga Filipinos dito. And yes, earlier I went out and I managed to talk to some countrymen, mga Filipinos dito po. And they were shocked. Although they were happy, but they were shocked only to hear that Marcos or President Bongbong Marcos only managed to convince or to get a 1% discount po sa tariff from 20% down to 19 po hanggang sa 19 lang. So I won't be surprised if more negative criticisms will be out regarding this 1% discount that Marcos managed to secure during the 3-day visit dyan po sa United States of America. But anyway, after the meeting of President Bongbong Marcos with President Donald Trump po, he also attended a press conference po, and there are some issues that he mentioned that includes ang sabihin natin ang typhoon, ang typhoon dyan sa Pilipinas, ang mga latest updates or reports that he received, and at the same time the most awaited and most talk about event on Monday, that is the State of the Nation address of Bongbong Marcos. Nandito po, let's listen and watch this footage, ang press conference ni President Bongbong Marcos dyan po sa United States of America. Alright, you hold on. Okay, nandito, let's watch and listen to this.
Good afternoon. As I'm sure you all know, we just came back from the White House for a meeting with President Trump. And in that meeting, we covered very many subjects. The first part of our meeting at the White House was in the Oval Office, and most of that was actually televised. So I didn't take you through that. But before the press was allowed in, again, he was very inquisitive about how the situation in our country, what are the threats that we have to worry about, and how are the other countries around ASEAN, Asia Pacific reacting to what's going on in West Philippine Sea. He asked us many questions about the situation, including the status of the different militaries around the area. So we had a we covered a great deal of ground. Now I think I can already tell everyone, as it's come out already, that we managed to bring down the 20% tariff rate for the Philippines to 19. Now 1% might seem like a very small concession. However, when you put it in real terms, it is a significant achievement. There's more to be spoken about with the United States concerning the tariff rates and our trade deals. So that I think is so we have a 19% rate coming from for imports coming from the Philippines into the United States. And however, comparatively speaking, we are still doing more. They told us that it is because of the special relationship between the Philippines and the United States. So that's the gist. I'm sure you have questions about it, and I'll open the floor.
All right, you just heard President Bongbong Marcos saying that, confirming officially that it is significant that the 1% tariff rate discount that he managed to get from President Donald Trump during his 3-day official visit sa United States of America. And again, I just want to remind you, I myself, I'm blurred, no? Indonesia managed to put down from 32 to 19 without going to see President Donald Trump. And of course, we have Myanmar, Cambodia, Malaysia, no? And they also managed to have a good tariff rate po, no? A good tariff rate. No? They negotiated it properly. And ang Philippines, despite being special, according to our President Bongbong Marcos, is a special relationship with the United States po. We only managed to get 1%. 1%. So, okay na ba yun? 1%? Okay na ba yun? Kung okay na yun, then what to do, no? What to do. Maybe during the Asian Summit, which the Philippines will be hosting somewhere in September, if I'm not mistaken, then maybe there will be some changes. Let's hope and pray lang po, no? Let us not criticize. I'm just trying to give you the information that you deserve to know, no? What really happened during the state visit of President Bongbong Marcos sa United States of America. 3 days yun po, official visit po. No? Okay, let's move on. During the press conference of Bongbong Marcos, or President Bongbong Marcos, he also touched on what are the updates regarding the natural calamities, flooding, flash flood we are facing in in the Philippines, particularly dyan po sa Luzon, Luzon areas po, no? So, I also prepared, I also recorded ang portion of the press conference of President Bongbong Marcos, and nandito yun po. So, before giving you the footage, I would like to say shout out muna tayo kay Marilu Pentodio, who is watching itong program natin, NikTok, The Real Talk with Nico, on a Wednesday. Today is July 23rd na po. And I would like to pass greetings, birthday greetings to grandson ko po, si Nico, no? Diyan sa Manila, who is celebrating also his birthday today, no? Happy birthday to you, to kayo, no? Nico, Fabian, happy birthday to you, and all the best, good health, and Godspeed to you. And of course, those who are celebrating their birthdays today, and any other special occasions that you are celebrating today, I would like to say and wish that this day will be a fruitful one. Your celebration will be a fruitful one, memorable, and problem-free. All right, let's continue with our issue for today. And this time around, let's watch and listen ang reaction or statement made by President Bongbong Marcos regarding the typhoon creasing in the Philippines. Nandito po, let's listen to this. Saan na yun, ha? Typhoon creasing.
487,964 families affected. 49,617 people are inside 500 evacuation centers, and there are 2,790 families who are staying outside of the evacuation centers, who are obviously being serviced by the DSWD for their needs. Relief goods have been supplied. We have, unfortunately, we have to report casualties. There are 6 dead so far, 5 injured, and we have 8 missing people. And the rains have not really stopped. The floods have not subsided in Metro Manila, especially in Metro Manila, pero kahit sa ibang lugar mo ganun din. Meron pa rin flooding. 1,875 areas have reported flooding. Region 1, 2, 3, GAR, NCR, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 11, 12, Caraga, and Barm. Debris incidents, fallen debris incidents, we have 9 drainage landslides, collapsed structures, etc. So I can provide you with these statistics later on. 1,486,876 people are being served either inside or outside evacuation centers. I've been to the casualties. The main cause for casualties were fallen trees, drowning, and flood currents. We still have 1,800 The damage to infrastructure, they estimate thus far, is at 4,7,442,667 and 73 cost to agriculture is estimated now at 134,655,000 pesos. Mimaropa alone is already 113 million in terms of losses. So, we have been watching it from the start since we have left. We spent most of the morning going through this to try and make sure mukha naman maganda ang response ng mga teams natin. They have been able to provide the relief goods. They have been able to evacuate as many people as possible as needed to be evacuated. And so we are just hoping for the floods to subside, the rain to lessen, and the floods to subside so that we can start again a cleanup process. All right.
Alright, yan pa ang latest updates report coming from no less than the President of the Philippines, President Bongbong Marcos on Typhoon Krising. Grabe, no? The initial amount of damage to properties po, no? As a result of Typhoon Krising has also reached a couple of billions, no? Billions B, it's not M, not million, it's a billion po. So, yeah, you can expect a lot of Filipinos now nahirapan. And I would like to say kudos also to because I saw sa Facebook, social media, mainstream media, mga reports po, no? That the Office of the Vice President, ang mga employees, personnel of the Office of the Vice President are effectively executing their duties and responsibilities, particularly in extending assistance, any kinds of assistance to the flash flood victims po dyan sa Pilipinas. Despite ang boss nila, si Vice President Sara Duterte is out of the country. No? In other words, they have a system. No? Before the typhoon came, they already prepared. In the event something happens and there is a need for them to extend, to take action and safeguard the welfare and interests of every Filipinos, particularly those affected by Typhoon Krising. And of course, now, remember, meron pa tayong ang storm called Emong, no? I hope it will not be strong enough po, but expected until end of this week po, no? Expected po that Philippines will continue to experience heavy downpour po because of Typhoon Emong. So finally, mayroon pa tayo isang footage natin because a lot of people and this has been going on ang mga talks and preparations of the State of the Nation address of President Bongbong Marcos scheduled on Monday, July 28 po. In fact, yesterday si Bongbong Marcos or President Bongbong Marcos has expressed his personal dissatisfaction when he heard and he saw, he was informed that personnel from the Public Works Department are putting up the tarpaulins of President Bongbong Marcos with his face smiling there, reminding about the upcoming State of the Nation Address or SONA po, no? And despite of heavy rain po. So, President Bongbong Marcos was not happy with this kind of things happening there. Sabi niya, it should stop immediately dahil ang mga Filipino are suffering. No? Are suffering. So, nandito po ang footage I'm going to share with you regarding ang statement, ang comments, reaction of President Bongbong Marcos when the reporter asked him about the preparation of the State of the Nation address, which is scheduled on Monday, July 28. July 28. Sandali, ha? July 28. Prior to this, July 28. Hold on, ha? Alright. Nandito po. Let's listen and watch.
Different from each other, no, but they will be different because the situation, and you have to remember, is the State of the Nation address. And the State of the Nation today is different from what it was last year and the last year before that. So, if of course necessary to be different, we will be talking about mainly the same things about the social projects of the government for people in need. We will talk about the programs that we are going to that we have initiated and will continue to promote and endorse as we until the end of, certainly at the very least until the end of this term. Hopefully it will continue after my term. So that's what we expect from the SONA. How far along are we? Well, when I knew that I was coming to the United States to meet with President Trump, then I cleared my schedule. And I said, we're going to lose 4 days. So we have to make it up. So we cleared my schedule, working very hard on it. As soon as I get back, we'll be working on it again. But I think we'll be there back Wednesday evening. We'll start work on it Thursday. I'm sure we'll work on it over the weekend. So mahapon namin yun. I think we'll be all right. Because what we have already written is substantial in terms of the SONA is about 80% of it. So konti na lang fine-tuning.
All right, that's it. You heard from President Bongbong Marcos regarding the preparation of his State of the Nation address po. What are we going to expect during the State of the Nation address on Monday, July 28th? During the State of the Nation address po, the President will be reporting about his accomplishment for the year that was. And then he will also be mentioning about his plan for the year ahead. 1 year ahead. No? So, yun na po. A report of what happened last year and his plans, goals for the next year. The coming up next year po. No? So, tingnan natin po kung ano-ano ang mga achievements niya. Tingnan natin po kung ano-ano ang mga what are the plans he is preparing for the next 1 year po. So, yun po. That is the thing that you're going to expect sa State of the Nation address of the President Bongbong Marcos. This will be the 4th. No? Every year, the President will have to make a report. And we call it State of the Nation Address. And hindi na po ang Presidente, even governors, even mayors po, no? They are obliged, required to conduct their own address po, no? To conduct their own address and report to the people what they have done and what are their plans for the next 1 year po. So, yun po ang preparation ng State of the Nation address of Bongbong Marcos. Today, July 23rd, we focus on the trip of President Bongbong Marcos po, the 3-day official trip of President Bongbong Marcos dyan po sa United States of America. I believe this is very important because it involves very important aspects po sa Pilipinas, and that is our security and economy po. No? Security and economy. As what I keep on saying before, in order for a country to progress, there must be 3 things that the administration or the government should prioritize. And these 3 things are political stability is very important. Economic stability is another one, very important. And lastly, stability, security stability po is very important. If you have these 3 things po, then siguro po wala na tayong problema po on enforcing, implementing our whatever plans we have for the people, for the nation po. So tatlo lang yan po. No? Tatlo yan. And then the rest, it follows na po. No? It follows na po. Like solving corruption. Because solving corruption, if you have the political stability po, no? And ang mga leaders natin, they have this political will. Wala tayong problema sa mga politicians natin po. Then we can solve the problem. 100%. Enforce the law. Huh? Security, enforce the law. No? And then we have money. Maganda ang economy ng Pilipinas. Mayroon tayong revenue. We have money to spend to implement our projects po. No, maganda yon po. So tatlo yon importante para sa akin po. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm not wrong po. But that's how I look at it. So in the meantime, siguro hanggang dito na lang ang NikTok Talk with Nico. And this is a very, very special day, Wednesday po, no? July 23rd. And at this ngayon, in one way or the other, hindi na kayo po blurred what transpired, what happened during the 3-day official visit of President Bongbong Marcos Jr. dyan po sa America, wherein he met the first Asian leader, met the President of America, si President Donald Trump po, on his second term. So with this, I would like to say thank you very much for making me once again a part of your day today. Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all, and I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.